Hi guys, and welcome to episode number 88 of the Happy Knitting Podcast. My name is Julia and I'm coming to you from Germany. Today is Sunday the 21st of May 2017. I am so glad that you're watching this knitting podcast today. If you're watching for the very first time, I hope that you like it. And if you're coming back, thank you ever so much. I really, really appreciate it. And I feel like I'm out of focus. Let's see. Maybe I'm just imagining things. So, this is a knitting podcast. I have quite a few things to show you today. First of all, I'll talk about knit-alongs in the Ravelry group. Then I'll show you my finished object, works in progress, acquisitions, and life in general. So let's just dive right in. And in case you're wondering, if I look over there, that's because I put my laptop over there to remember the prizes for the knit-alongs. So don't be confused. So we have a Ravelry group called the Happy Knitting Podcast group, which you can find by searching in the groups tab. And I can only encourage you guys to join because it's really, really fun and there's lots of things going on in that group. Most of all, there are 2 knit-alongs running. There's the One Ball with Love CAL, which is a knit-along to knit with commercial sock yarn. It's an informal knit-along and I think I started out really strong and then I've kind of neglected it ever since, so I need to get back on my game with that. But it's so fun to see all of you guys join in. And then we have a proper knit-along, which includes a deadline and prizes and such. And that is the Keeping It Vanilla CAL. And for the Keeping It Vanilla CAL, as the name suggests, you just knit a pair of vanilla socks. And vanilla means that they are stockinette. You can use whatever heel you want. You can use whatever, like different colored heels and toes. But the sock has to be a vanilla stockinette sock. So for that, I just wanted to go through the prizes really quickly because the end of the knit-along is coming up soon. It's ending on the 31st of May, which is so soon. So we have 5 prizes. First of all, lovely Lynn, who has the Sunshine and Bubblegum podcast and Etsy store, is donating a bag. So you can choose a project bag from her shop and she will send that straight to you. So thank you so much, Lynn, for donating that. And then the German dyer Maike, who dyes Das Regenbogenschafjärn, which I'll talk about later in this episode, is donating either 100 gram skein or 250 gram skeins of her Pinta base. Again, you can choose the colorway and she will send that straight to you. So thank you, Maike. And a lovely viewer, Diane, she has put together sets of 6 mini skeins and a handmade lip balm, I believe. Hang on. It's a handmade skin balm. And she put these together just because she's lovely. And so 2 winners will get 1 set of each. And again, they will be shipped straight to you. And then lastly, I have 1 physical prize with me today. And that will be these lovely stitch markers that I showed you last week. They are from Share My Passion. As well as this skein of Studio C yarn, which again is from a German indie dyer. Her name is Clara. So this will go out as a package together. Thank you to both of these makers as well. And yeah, so that's really, really exciting, isn't it? And so I just thought I'd go through them really quickly because I always mean to do that and then I don't, and then suddenly the CAL is over. So get your finished objects in. Make sure they qualify. They need to be started after April 15th. And yeah, thank you so much to everyone who has donated a prize and also to all of you who have been joining in. That's been really, really fun. I'm getting really sidetracked because I feel like I'm not in focus, but then I'm a little bit all over the place anyways. Maybe I should explain. So I've been off work for 2.5 days because I was sick and I got really, really strong medication, which is making me super, super loopy. Like, it's really ridiculous. I feel like I've taken 2 shots of whiskey or something every time I take these 2 tablets, and I take them 3 times a day. So I did not take them this morning before podcasting because I wanted to keep the crazy at a acceptable level, but I still feel like it's kind of affecting me and my vision a little bit, so I'm not sure if it's in focus or if I'm just imagining things. So I'm just going to go with it, but if something is a little bit extra loopy today, that's why. It's going to be fun going back to work tomorrow. Let's say that. That's going to be interesting. So that's it for the Ravelry group. Actually, it's not. I am starting a new knit-along. Yay! So as you might know, I like to do pretty broad knit-alongs, and I like to do knit-alongs that kind of go with the theme of what I want to be doing. So one thing that I've been kind of thinking about is my stash lately. And I love my stash, and my stash is quite big. Well, I guess it's always relative, but to me it seems quite big. And I love my stash, and most of the time I don't really feel weighed down by it because I love all the yarns that I have, and I don't feel bad about buying the yarn because for me it's just all about supporting indie dyers. I just love indie dyers. Like, most of these are women who either, have their own business doing this, or they do it on the side while working another job, and that's just incredible. So I love supporting you guys who make stuff, who make yarn. So I have no grudge about that. Having said that, what's wrong with me is my yarn buying ratio to knitting time ratio. So what happens is I actually have a lot of nice yarn that I'd like to knit with, but it's kind of staying in stash because I don't find the time to knit with it. So I'm not going to say I'm going to do a yarn diet because that's just going to make me buy yarn. And frankly, I don't really want to stop buying yarn altogether, but what I want to do is I want to celebrate my stash. So what does that mean? It means that I want to be more mindful and use the things that I have, because I have a lot of things that either are very special, or I just don't really know what to do with them yet, or yeah, I just haven't gotten around to them yet. So I'm going to spend the next months mostly knitting from stash, and I'll try to knit things from stash that are maybe older stash, and just enjoy my stash because I really love my stash. How many times can I say stash in one sentence? Apparently a lot. So from now on, I'm starting the Celebrate Your Stash KAL, or CYSKAL. And feel free to join in. Just knit anything you want, just using some stash yarn. And I can't really control what you do, but I would like you to be mindful about that, not just grab whatever you're knitting on anyways and just enter that in. I'd like you to, the idea is to really sort of, use your stash, and maybe when you post your finished object, you can, write a couple of sentences about the yarn and why it's been in your stash for so long, something like that. And I will open a chatter thread as well as a finished object thread, and in the chatter thread, feel free to also just share your stashes. I just think that would be really fun, and if you don't have a huge stash, that's fine. You don't have to have a huge stash to do this. I'm sure everyone has a couple of balls of yarn lying around somewhere. And again, I'm not imposing a yarn diet on myself. If you do choose to do a yarn diet at the same time, that's fine. For me, I think I actually treated myself to something really nice that I've been wanting for ages. So I know I have a yarn club coming in anyways, and there's one thing that I might really want to get. So I'm just not saying I won't buy yarn at all. I just want to be mindful, and I'm actually really looking forward to, exploring my stash and maybe reorganizing my stash and just going through what I have. So I think we'll run this until the end of, let's see, it's almost June already. Maybe we'll run it until the end of July, but let's leave that TBD. But that's roughly the idea. So I'll open a chatter thread and in the Ravelry group, use the hashtag CYSKAL, so Celebrate Your Stash KAL, on Instagram, and we'll just chatter about and figure this out. So I think that'll be really fun. I already have one prize that's been hanging out in the prize basket by itself, so I'm going to probably use that. And I know there are some prizes coming in, so if you do want to donate a prize, please do get in touch. And just let me know what you think about this KAL. I think it might be really, really fun. And yeah, we'll see how it goes. So with that, let's jump into some finished objects. Ta-da! I finished these socks that I hated so much. I don't know why I hate them so much. These are the socks for my sister. These are just plain vanilla socks, and the yarn that I'm using is from a German indie dyer called Frau oder Socke. This is in the Wolkenregenbogen colorway, which means cloudy rainbow. And this is what they look like. I did not put them on sock blockers because my sister has smaller feet than I do, so they would just stretch out and they wouldn't fit onto the sock blocker really anyways. But this is what they look like. I knit these on 2.25mm US size 1 needles. They have not been blocked, as you can see here. And I did 60 stitches, I believe. So they just have a fish lips kiss heel, and they're a very, very vanilla sock. I love this sort of cuff, the way how it looks when you cast it on. I think that's really, really fun. Anyways, these are done. I'm super happy about them. I had a really, really bad second sock syndrome with these. I kind of completely stopped knitting on them, and I just hated them. And there's nothing wrong with them. I just didn't like them. I didn't like the colors. I didn't like the yarn. I just really wasn't feeling it. And then the other day, my lovely friend Marion was over, and she was like, "Do you want me to knit on those?" I was like, "Yes, please." So she knit like a little bit, I think up to the heel, maybe like an inch or two. And then I just realized, well, I just need to get these done now. So I think I finished them within a day. So it really wasn't that bad after all. I'm just so happy that these are done, and these are going to go to my sister, and I'm happy to never see them again. But again, nothing is wrong with the yarn. Please don't take this as me hating on the yarn. There's nothing wrong with it. I just didn't feel like it. So I'm very happy that these are done. Let's just leave it at that. So let's move on to some some works in project, blah, 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 to some works in progress. So I've been homesick, which means I got a lot of knitting done, even though I feel like, considering I've been home for 2 days, I should have gotten more done, but oh well. So, and yes, I do have 5 works in progress, which is insane. So first of all, I finished my first of the Union Square socks. So this is the yarn from Das Regenbogenschaf that I was mentioning earlier, where you can win 1 skein or 2 half skeins of this yarn as well. So this is Das Regenbogenschaf in the Pinta base, which is a wool, ramie and silk base, which is really, really awesome. And as you can see, I chose 2 50-gram balls of different colors. The pattern is the Union Square socks by Mina Phillip, and this is the 3rd pattern of her New York sock club, and this is definitely my favorite pattern so far. I think it is beautiful. So I did this version where you alternate between, you know, like a right leaning and a left leaning sort of eyelet. And these don't have heels yet. I will put in an afterthought heel. Most likely I will put in a purple one in this one, and then a blue one in this one. So as you can see, these are kind of reversed, so I just switched around the colors. And yeah, I'm super happy about this. I really just need to work on them a little bit, because they do fly when you work on them, but when you just leave them in your project bag, they don't really make that much progress. Surprise. So yeah, I'm super happy about these. These will be for me. I'm knitting them on 2.25mm US size 1, and I'm doing the medium size, which I believe is a 64 stitch sock. So that's that pair of socks. I really like these. I definitely feel loopy. In here I have my Excuse Me shawl by Stephen West, and believe it or not, I actually made some progress on this time. So, this is the Excuse Me shawl by Stephen West. It is a top-down brioche 2-color shawl, and my needles are too small to show you. But, let's see. I'm really not good at this today. So this shawl, you kind of do the same thing, and then you go into section 2 where you have different sort of increases and decreases, and you basically just do that until the end. So that's where I am now, so maybe we can show you this way. So you can see now that the increases and decreases are changing, which gives a really, really interesting sort of effect. I am still loving this project. I did make a huge mistake once, which, let's just blame it all on the medication, so I had to think back, and thinking back like a right slanted decrease in brioche is not very fun, let me tell you that. So this is the other side. You can see the stitch marker from Share My Passion. This is where I was last week, so I think I've made a fair bit of progress, considering brioche does take a little bit longer to knit, and these rows are getting quite long. So I'm really, really liking this still. I really like the effect. I'm knitting this in fingering weight yarn on using 3.5mm needles, and the yarns that I'm using is, this pink is from Wool and Vine. This is on her Wolke base, which is an MCN base, and the colorway is Pandora, and the sort of speckled gray is from Das Mondschaf, and the colorway is Rapture. And that's just a 75-25 merino nylon, but it is crazy soft. So this entire thing is ridiculously soft and cozy. So yeah, that's where I am with my Excuse Me shawl. Next up, I have no idea what's in this project bag, so let's see. Oh yeah, I have 3 new... Do I? No, I don't. I have 2 new cast-ons, and this is one of them. This is the first time I'm knitting with yarn from Nicole C. Mendez, who is famous for her self-striping colorways, and finally, after so many months and probably already a year, the other day I treated myself to her 3-month striping sock yarn club, and I'm ridiculously excited about it. So I decided, I've kind of been hoarding, I had 2 skeins of her yarn, and I've been kind of stashing it away, waiting for the perfect time to come, and I was afraid to use it. So in the spirit of stash along, I cast it on. So this is in her old base. She recently changed her base to a 80-20 base, which is much softer. This is a 75-25 sock yarn in the colorway 202. So I think she names her colorways now, but this is quite old. And this is my sock so far. How fun is this? This is only my 2nd ever time knitting with indie-dyed self-striping yarn, and I just love it so much. I'm addicted to self-striping yarn, you guys. So this is a 4 or 5 stripe colorway, and I'm knitting a vanilla sock. So I did a 1x1 twisted rib just to kind of mix it up. And then I already put in my afterthought heel. I already put it in because I want the heel to go between stripes, and this way I can then, put the toe wherever I need it, because otherwise I would be worried that my heel would have to go in the middle somewhere. So anyways, the heel is already in, which is good because, yeah, I just used the Kirby Werby afterthought heel, which I use all the time, and I love it. And I'm just really, really enjoying this yarn. This is so fun. This will most likely be a gift to someone, because it just screams that person's name for me. And yeah, I'm really enjoying it. Once again, I'm doing 64 stitches on a 2.25mm needle. So I just realized that I never even told you what shawl I'm wearing today. The shawl that I'm wearing is my brioche with a twist shawl, which is a 2-color brioche design that I published last year. So I knitted out of a merino singles yarn from Knitting in France, and the blue is Cascade Heritage Solids. So just so you know. So in my next project bag, which is my beautiful birthday project bag that my lovely friend Marion made for me, in here I have my sock blank socks, which are the socks that I cast on my birthday. And let's see. I'm very sure I did leave the tag over in the other room, but the sock blank The sock blank that I'm using is from Laughing Gaffle, who is in the UK, and I've mentioned her quite a few times because I really like what she does. This is called Sugar Hiccup, which is really hilarious. And I finished the first sock. I'm super happy with this. I actually finished this on the day that I got sick, or when I was my first day home, and I was a little bit loopy again. How many more times can I say that? So I tried it on and it seemed to fit. But now my sock blocker, I'm starting to think maybe either my sock blocker is too big or my socks are too short. So we'll see how they fit, but they did fit when I tried them on. So I haven't blocked these yet. I just popped them onto the blocker right now so you can kind of get a better image of what this looks like. So the yarn itself is still quite crinkly. It's actually not too bad. As you can see, I did a fish lips kiss heel in garter stitch, which I like to do. I just think it's really fun, and it also gives a little bit more flexibility for the heel, I think, because it's just a little bit more stretchy. So yeah, I love this sock. I love it so much. And I have cast on the second one since. And yeah, I'm not quite at the heel yet, but close. So I'm very, very excited about these. These will be forever my birthday socks. I'm knitting them on my Chaogu red lace needles, which are my favorite needles in the world, and I kind of want to get some more. But yeah. So that's my other sock whip. And then I also cast on a new shawl, because if you follow me on Instagram, you might have seen my post where I was debating whether to cast on a shawl or socks. And some of you said both, and I completely agreed. So I cast on both. So I cast on my stripy socks, and I really wanted to knit a 2-color shawl, and I wanted to knit one that is knit on the bias, so you kind of start with very few stitches and then increase, because I really like that technique. And again, I also wanted to use some yarn from my stash. So this is a very special to me yarn. It is Hedgehog Fibers Skinny Singles in the Villain colorway. And this was gifted to me from a very lovely friend, and I think I've caked this up and tried to use it twice and then always put it back into skein form, because as beautiful as this yarn is, I never really knew how to use it with another skein, because I didn't want to make socks out of it, obviously, because it's a singles yarn. And it kind of speaks for itself so much that I had a really hard time pairing it. But I decided to just be bold and use this. And I'm using it with this skein, which is a little bit messy. This is a fine fish yarns, which again, I've only used once as well. And this is in her core sock, which is a 75-25 merino and nylon blend. And it's called Whatever Happened to Fairy Cakes. And again, this is really, really soft and subtle, but it has speckles in here, so I just thought it might go with the crazy hedgehog fiber skein. And I decided to cast on a shawl by Joji Locatelli, which I haven't done in ages, and this is the Girl from the Grocery Store, which is of course very much inspired by the Grocery Girls. And yeah, I've been very obsessed with this. So I'm using my light color as color 1, and then using the hedgehog as my sort of stripy color, and that would be the border as well. So I think for now I really, really love this shawl. I've just been addicted to this, you guys. I just think it is so beautiful, and the stripes are really bold, but I think sometimes you have to be bold. So I'm loving it. I'm very curious to how I'll feel when I use this crazy color in a bigger chunk to do the border. I think that'll be interesting. But again, this is just such a pleasurable knit. It's super easy, and that's exactly what I needed. And I've just been breezing along with this. I love it so much. It's written for a 4.5mm needle. I decided to go with a 4mm, which is a US size 6, because I actually usually use 3.5mm for fingering weight shawls. And I didn't want to change the needle size too much, so I thought the 4s were a good compromise, and I do really like the fabric that I'm getting. It is a lot drapier than what I usually do. But I think a 4.5 would have just been too drapey for me, and I just don't like knitting with big needles, to be honest. But yeah, I am just, oh my gosh, I love this so much. And I don't really know why I love it, because I usually don't really love garter stitch. And this is very, very garter stitchy. But somehow it's just been keeping me entertained so much. I think it just kind of came at the perfect time, at the perfect state of mind. So I just love this to death. And I think the colors look really awesome together. It is quite unusual for me, but I think it works. At least I think it does. And I've been weaving in my ends as I went. The last one I haven't woven in, but all the other ones are already woven in, which makes it so much easier, because if I had to do them at the end all together, I would never do them. So yeah, this is my absolute favorite project at the moment. I just love it to death, and I really just want to knit on it some more, which is a good sign. So, that's it for my works in progress, finally. And let's talk about some acquisitions. I have one acquisition, but it is quite a sizable one. And why do I need the hand gestures? I'm not quite sure. So, I'm sure a lot of you have heard of Felt Fusion, who is Shadow. She's in the UK, and she does the most amazing yarn. I think I found her last year through Little Bobbins with Danny, and I've done 2 of her yarn clubs, and I just love what she does. But what she does is a lot of custom orders, so I've actually never placed a custom order, and instead I've been just staring at everyone else's lovely yarn. And she's one of the very few yarn dyers that I follow on Facebook, and she has a really, really good Facebook page. And trust me, if you follow her, you will buy stuff. So I think she kind of puts photos of her skeins onto her Facebook page before she puts them into her shop. So I saw this one, and it had to come live with me immediately. So this is just called Speckles. So I'm not sure if it's a one-of-a-kind sort of thing, or if it's actually called Speckles. But this is on her merino fingering singles. So it's 366 meters per 100 grams, and This is her logo, and I mean, I think you can see why this had to come home with me. This is just so stunning. I'm kind of starting to develop a little collection of indie-dyed singles yarns, and I don't really know what to do with them yet, but I just love this, and this had to come live with me. Also, her prices are quite reasonable. So I was just going to get that, but then she had, on her title page on Facebook, she had posted like a set of 5 skeins. I think these were I think they were for Hohi's new mystery knit along. So I was like, she does custom orders, right? So I asked her if she could dye me 3 of the skeins that were in the photo on another base. And she said yes. So I did my first ever custom order. And oh my gosh, you guys. Are you ready? Dum, 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 dum. How beautiful is this? So in the photo, she had these 3 skeins together with, I think, 2 sort of gray tones. So that was a really, really beautiful set, and I was very tempted to get all 5, but that would have been a little bit insane, and I didn't really want to do the knit along anyway, so I just asked her if she could dye me the middle 3 skeins on her high twist merino and nylon base, because that's my favorite base of hers, to be honest. It's a high twist superwash merino nylon sock. And he just called this Purples and Speckles because obviously it's a custom order. It comes with this beautiful ribbon that says hand dyed by Felt Fusion, and I just love this. And do I know what I'm going to do with it? No. But there are so many possibilities. First of all, I don't really like mixing yarn bases too much, especially for sweaters. So these are 3 skeins, so I could easily knit a sweater for myself out of this. For example, I could do like a faded version of the featherweight. There's a lot of fingering weight sweaters that I could knit out of this. Or I could use these 2 for a beautiful 2-color shawl and knit a pair of socks. Or I could knit 3 pairs of socks. Or I could do all kinds of stuff with this, and I am just so over the moon with this. The only thing is that now I don't want to use these 3, or I don't want to separate them. But I think something beautiful is going to come out of these 3. Maybe one of Vera Valmaki's patterns. She has a lot of really fun sweater patterns. I love these yarns. These made me super, super happy. Yeah, these just make my heart sing so much. And yeah, thank you so much, Shadow, if you ever watch this, which I don't think you do. But if you do, thank you so much. This also came really, really fast. She said it was going to take her a couple of weeks, but I feel like it came here within 2 weeks, including shipping. So yeah, if you ever wanted custom ordered yarn, I would definitely recommend her yarns because she's really, really awesome at what she does. And these are just beautiful. I love the tonality in this one, actually. Even like just as like a pattern sock, these would be gorgeous. And she also sent me a sample of silk, which probably isn't very special to most of you, but I've never used wool wash in my life. So I'm really, really looking forward to using this. I have 1 pair of Wollmeise socks that I want to hand wash because I'm worried that they'll bleed on the first wash. So I think I'm going to wash these and my sock blank socks when they're done with this and try this out. So I'm really excited about this as well. So that's it for my acquisitions, and I'll move straight on to life in general. So to be honest, not that much has happened this week. The funniest thing was definitely, well, it's not really fun, but I got sick on Wednesday. To be honest, I was kind of sick before that, but I think I was just pushing through, which probably made it a lot worse. So on Wednesday, it was actually quite funny in hindsight. I was at work and there was a really, really important meeting and I couldn't really miss that, but I wanted to go to the doctors. So I begged the doctors, because they're all closed at 12 o'clock on Wednesdays in Germany for some crazy reason. I was like, if I arrive like 20 minutes to 12, can I still please come? I'll come as fast as I can. So what ended up happening is I rushed out of the meeting at 11:30 and ran to the doctor's office. So by the time I got there and they're like, well, where does it hurt? I was like, everywhere. Oh my gosh. It was such a rush and I was running and it was not great. But anyways, I'm actually doing okay now. The only thing is that for some reason, my infection really affected my back, so I've been having really bad back pains, and I'm quite worried about that because if you've been watching for a long time, you know that I had issues with that last year, pretty much a year ago, and I don't want that to flare up again, so I'm really trying to take it slow, and I'm taking all my meds to get back as to get back to being active as fast as possible. And I've really noticed that the best medicine or the least pain I have when I'm walking. So yesterday we took a huge walk. I actually took 2 huge walks, and that is just the best medicine for me. So I think as soon as I can, I'll go back to being more active and doing more yoga and maybe some tennis. I don't really want to play tennis right now, but yeah, this just kind of was a bit of a wake-up call for me to not forget about that stuff, because lately with work I haven't really been working out as much. I've just been stressing out too much, and I knew that I was doing too much. So I think this has just kind of given me the signal to slow down and get better. And yeah, so but I'm doing pretty good. Like I said, the funniest things are my medications. It is hilarious. They're supposed to make you a little tired, but for me, they make me go all over the place. And they make me do that really, really fast. So for example, yesterday, Kai and I, we were having breakfast, and I intentionally waited to take them with breakfast. And within like 10 minutes, I went from normal person to drunk person at like 10 o'clock in the morning. And it was hilarious. I think it's really funny. Um, Kai sometimes thinks it's funny, but it's so strange. It's so strange. And I was on the phone with my sister the other day as well, and you start realizing that it's much harder to say smart things. And then I was like, is this really the meds, or am I just becoming gradually more stupid? So anyways, I've been having a lot of fun, but that's not the worst thing to happen when you're sick, so that's all right. Um, what else? Not a whole bunch is happening besides my hair, which is crazy. I'm just babbling on about nothing, so I think this is a very, very good time to leave you guys to do some knitting. I will do some knitting. We're also going to walk into the city today, which, if you're living in a small place, this is very normal, but for us, to walk into the city center is quite a long walk. So I'm really looking forward to that, because we can walk along the river and then probably take an underground back or something. So I'm excited about that. Again, I really just want to do some knitting, and I'm back to work tomorrow. Thankfully, most likely only for 3 days, because Thursday is a public holiday and Friday I actually took a day off, so we're going away. We're most likely going away. So I'm just crossing my fingers that that is going to happen. Please cross your fingers for me as well. Again, I want to get a ton of knitting done, and I'm really looking forward to that. So with being away, when am I going to podcast next? I don't really know. I'll try to somehow stick to a weekly rhythm, but it might be a day earlier or later, or maybe it might be 10 days until I record again. I just really don't know to this point. So, thank you so much for watching this slightly crazy podcast. Thank you to everyone who still wished me happy birthday last week. That was lovely, or sent me well wishes. I'm doing much better. And Yaren is definitely helping, so don't worry about that. Please do come over to the Ravelry group, join in the chatter, join in the knit-alongs. I love hearing from you. So again, have a wonderful week, happy knitting, and I will see you soon. Bye!